Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Rachel Rabo. I'm a Microsoft MVP and a Power Platform technical consultant. So I work with Power Platform and Power Pages in my day-to-day job. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create a basic form in Power Pages. And there are two ways that you can create a basic form in Power Pages, either through the Portal Management modern-driven app or directly in the Power Pages designer. Okay, and before you create the form, like before you create your basic form, you need to make sure that you have your Dataverse table ready and you also have your form ready, like your form in your Dataverse table, you have it created already. And if this is new to you, like you're like, hey Rachel, what is a Dataverse table and also what is a form? I will tell you to look into creating a Dataverse table, and you can do this by creating a solution, adding your Dataverse table to your solution, and then creating a form inside of that Dataverse table. Okay, I hope that helps you as a guide. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me that question in the comment section. So this video is going to be divided into two chapters where I'm going to be showing you how to create the basic form in the portal management modern driven app, and I'm also going to be showing you how to create it in the Power Pages designer. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and if you have any questions or if you have any feedback, feel free to drop it in the comment section. So let's go ahead to the video. Okay, so now I'm going to be showing you how to do this directly in the Power Pages designer. Okay, so I'm right here in the Power Pages and I'm using a blank canvas. I do not have anything right here. I just want to show you how to create a form directly from your Power Pages designer. So before doing this, I already have my form created. So I'm going to be using a simple form. I already have my form created from my event registration table. So when you are creating a basic form in Power Pages, you can use any type of Dataverse table. You can use a core table, you can use a standard table, and you can also use a custom table. Okay, so make sure that you have your form ready, like your entity form. Make sure you have your form ready. So I have my form ready, and make sure you have your label, like you have your label right here. You can see this is what it's showing, Power Pages event. So take notice of this, because if you do not have this on your form, when you add it to the Power Pages website, it's not going to show, like the header is not going to show. I'm going to show you how that looks like, but for now, let's go back to the Power Pages designer. So in order to add the form to our Power Pages website. So if you are not seeing something like this, you might not be seeing something like this, and that is fine. You just have to click on the plus sign, click on add a session, then click on the column. So you have the option of selecting between one column, two column, three column, one third. You can see you have different options that you can select from. So this is how the one column looks like. Okay, this is how the two column looks like. This is how the three column looks like. So you can see these are the options that you have about your layout. So I'm going to be using the one column view. So after selecting the one column view, so you can see I have options, different components to select from. I have text, I have button, I have image, video, card gallery, form, multi-step form, and lists. So right here we are using form, which is our basic form. Okay, the multi-step form, it's quite different from a basic form. So let's go ahead to form. So when you click on form, you have the options where you can use your copilots, or you can use user registration form, scholarship application form, product customer support form. So I'm just going to go ahead to other ways to get started and click on new form. So when you are clicking on new form, this is just you bringing your Dataverse table right here. Okay, so for me, I have my custom table, which is event registration. So it's you bringing your Dataverse table. Okay, and after bringing your Dataverse table, you have to bring your form that you have ready inside of your Dataverse table. So for me, I have my form called registration. Okay, so the next thing is name your copy of the selected form. Like, what do you want the form to be called? So I can just leave it at registration. I can also change the name right here if I want to. It does not really matter. Okay. Then we have, after the form, we have the data. So the data is, what do you want to do with this form that you are creating? Do you want to use the form to create a new record? Do you want to use it to update an existing record? Or do you want to use the form to just show it on a read-only view? Is that what you want to do with it? So in this video, we are going to be using create a new record. Okay. So when we have on submit, so on submit means when the form is submitted, like when you fill the form and then you click on submit button, what do you want to happen next? Do you want it to display an email? Do you want it to display a message like your details has been successfully submitted? Or do you want it that immediately they click on the submit button, it should redirect them to a URL which you get to paste here? Or do you want it that it should redirect them to a page? So what you say, do you want it to redirect them to a page? So what is a page? A page is just from your Power Pages website. So right now we are currently in the home page. So you can create other pages. You can create maybe a contact page, an about page. So you just get to click it from the drop down. So right here, we're going to be using display a message. Okay. So then we have captcha. So captcha is, you have two options. Do you want to show it for an authenticated user? Do you want to show it for an anonymous user? What do you want to do? And what is the difference between these two users, especially if this is the first time you're hearing about this? So the anonymous user is that they, like when you go to a website, you just research, you just search a website online and you are redirected to that website. You can do some activities on the website without signing in. So that is you being anonymous. But for an authenticated user, it means that you have to sign in. Okay, you have to sign in able to access some things in the website. So that is the what the difference between them. But for this case, what it means is that, do you want to show the captcha for somebody who is accessing this website anonymously, or do you want to show captcha for someone who is accessing the website after they have logged in? Okay, so I'm going to show you how that looks like. For now, let's go to the next step. So the next step is an attachment. So an attachment is adding like a field to your form where a user can be able to upload an attachment. They can be able to upload a file. So you can click on enable attachment. So you can make that field required, that the person cannot submit a form without uploading a file. Okay. You can also allow multiple files, like they can upload multiple files at the same time. You can also give your attachments a display name, okay? Like you can give it a display name, we can say demo, and you can select the type of files you want the user to be able to upload. Do you want them to be able to upload all file types? Do you want them to be able to only upload image file? What do you want them to upload? Okay. Then we have the attachment storage. So for this case here in Power Pages, uploading an attachment, we have the notes attachment in Dataverse, and then we have the Azure Blob storage. Okay. In order to use the Azure Blob storage, you need to make sure that you already have your resource set already. You have your Azure Blob storage resource set. Then you get to come here, add the storage account name, add the container name, and then go ahead and set the size per file. Okay. So here I'm going to be selecting note attachment in Dataverse and click on OK. So after doing all of that, so if we scroll down right here, we can see this Power Pages event showing here. And this is where it's coming from. So that's why I said it's very important that you give your your form a label. Okay. You give your form a label. So you can have different sections in your you can have different sections in your form. That is fine. So I just want to show you how that looks like. Okay, so now this is how it looks like. And in order to save the changes that I just made, I'm just going to click on psych. Okay, And now I'm going to go to the Power Pages website. And if you don't know how to do that, it's just you clicking on preview and then clicking on desktop. So preview this site at desktop size. Okay, that's what I did there. So now you can see that it's saying that I don't have the appropriate permissions to access that form. And how can I fix that? So if you see on the form right here, we have set the permission on this form so it can be seen and used by all of your users. So I'm just going to click on that new permission at the side, that new permission button at the side. So we have different types of table permission. So you can watch my video where I gave a detailed explanation about table permission in Power Pages. So yeah, just going to be leaving it at global access. Okay. Then we have different types of permission. Do you want the user to be able to read the form? Should they be able to create? And when it comes to append to, so the append to permission, it's very important if you want to enable the attachments, like enabling of attachments, you have to add the append to permission. Okay, so you can see here, to ensure your site visitors are able to upload attachments, append to privilege must be selected and saved. Okay, so the next part is the adding of the rows. So when you are creating a Power Pages website, automatically you have your anonymous users and authenticated users. So it depends on if you want to create more rows, if you want to create more rows when you are building this. But you understand the explanation I already gave about an anonymous user and also an authenticated user. So for this, I'm going to select, okay, I want an anonymous user and a authenticated user to be able to access the form. Okay, so if I wanted that only an authenticated user would access the form, I would have to remove anonymous. Okay, so that is that. Then I'll click on save. So you can see the data displayed in your site can be seen by anyone. So I'm going to click on save. And remember, click on psych. Okay, so now we're just going to refresh this and see the changes that has happened to the form. So you can see that now we can actually see the form. Okay, so you can see we can see the form and we can also upload. So you can see the label added as demo. Okay, so that you can change it to something else, but this is the upload. And this is how the captcha looks like. This is how the captcha looks like. So right now I'm an anonymous user and this is how the captcha looks like. So I do not like it. You might like it, but I do not like it. So I can just come back right here, click on it, go to edit form, go to captcha, and then I would just disable it and click on OK and then save my changes. Okay, so this is the submit button. You remember I showed you the settings for the submit button. What do you want to happen? Do you want it that, hey, when I click on the submit button, I want it to move me to a page, I want it to move me to a specific URL, or I want it that when I click on submit, it should show a message that, hey, your form has been submitted successfully. So it depends on what you want to do. Okay, so you might have a question that, Rachel, why is there a space right here before the form? Is that normal? No, it's not. And the reason is because of this. Like, I have this session right up here. So that is the reason why I have this like open space right here. So that's the reason it's looking like that. Okay. So how can I create a basic form on Power Pages using portal management? Okay, so you just have to go to the make.powerpages.microsoft.com, and on the home page, you just have to scroll down to your website. Okay, you have to scroll down to your website and click on the three dots. So after you click on the three dots, you're going to see the Power Pages Management, which has been changed now to Power Pages Management. So you have to click on it. Okay, so you just have to click on it, and you see it's showing us the website, the details. We do not need any of this. So at the left side of our screen, under content, we are going to see basic forms. So just go directly to basic forms and click on the new, like the new button. Okay, just click on new. So when you click on new, I'm going to give this form. So apart from looking at that first, if you can see under the contents, we have basic form, we have list, we have multi-step form. So a multi-step form is very, very different from a basic form. So in this video, we are creating a basic form. So keep notice of that. So now I'm going to name my form Power Pages Event Registration. And if you can remember what I said you need your Dataverse table to work with basic forms. So you can use any type of Dataverse table. You can use a standard table, a standard Dataverse table. You can use a custom table, and you can also use a core table. So it depends on the type of Dataverse table you want to use. So for me, I'm using a very simple form, which is event registration. So you need to make sure that on your form, you need to make sure that you have your labels. Like always make sure you have your labels on the form so that it will be able to show in your Power Pages website. So you can add as much section as you want, but always make sure you have your label right there. So if I come back here, after giving my basic form a name, I now have to bring the table, okay? I have to bring the Dataverse table. So when you have your table name, you don't have to click on here. You might be confused. This is locked. This is a read only. What do I do? You just have to come here at the right side. Click on the drop down, then search for your table. So I'm using a custom table named event registration. So after selecting my table, I'll go to the drop down for form name. I have my form as registration. So I'm using a main form. Okay. So if you watch the video on the first chapter where I showed how to create a basic form directly inside of the Power Pages designer, you can see that we have different, like we have different things that we can make our basic form do. We can make it that the form is the focus of the form is creating a new record, like creating new data. We can also make the focus of the form be edit, like you edit the form. Okay, it can also be a read only, like just a view. Okay, so it depends on what you want to do. In this case, we are going to click on insert, and insert means create a new record. So the next thing to do is to select the website. So you have to click on that. It's a lookup. So you have to click on that search icon and then click on the website that you are using. So if you don't want to do that, you can just still search the name. Okay, so you can do it any way you want to do it. You can search the name Power Pages Demo. So that is what I'm working with. Then we have the next one called Enable Table Permissions. Okay, so if you do not enable permission for this, if you do not enable the permission for this basic form, the users will not be able to see it in the Power Pages website. It's going to tell them that, hey, you do not have permission to be able to view this form. Okay, so it depends. You have different scenarios where you want to use the form that, okay, maybe I want the form to be accessible to everyone, or I want it that a user has to log in order to see the form. So it depends on what particular area you want the person to see the form, but whatsoever it is, you always have to enable the table permission. And you can also watch the video where I talked more on table permissions for forms, like Power Pages table permissions. You can watch on the video. I gave a detailed explanation. Okay, so now we're going to go to form options. So for the form options, we have where you want to add captcha. So do you want to add captcha for, do you want to show captcha for authenticated user? Do you want to show it for anonymous user? So what is an authenticated user, in case if you are hearing it for the first time? So an authenticated user is a person that goes to a website. They have to also like they go to a website and then they sign into the website. Okay, then we have the anonymous user. An anonymous user is a person that just like you browse a website, you just go there, you check, and then you leave. Okay, that is an anonymous user. So we have additional settings. So we have additional settings where we have set recommended field as required. We have enable validation, summary links. We have show owners field. So if you ask a question like, Rachel, what is owners field? So the owners field is just this field. Okay, that is the owners field. Then we have make all fields required. So these are all settings to the form. Okay, all these are settings to the form. Then we have the on success settings tab. What is this? So this is focused on the button in the form. So in the form, we have a submit button in the form. So it is focused on it. So when a user clicks when a user fills the form and clicks on submit, what do you want to happen? Do you want it that when they click on submit, it should show a message that, hey, your record has been submitted or your data has been seen? What do you want it to show? Then you also have the redirect option. So the redirect option is when they click on the submit button, you want it to take them to an external URL, or you want it to take them to a specific web page in your website. So a web page is like your home page is a web page, okay? So it depends on what you want to do. So these are the different options that you can do on your submit button. So we also have other additional settings. You can see these are the things that we have right there. So this is our form. I'm going to click on save. Okay, so I'm just going to change it from Power Pages Events Demo. So I'm going to change it from Power Pages Events to Event Demo. Okay, so this is it right here. And this process is a little bit longer than creating it directly from the Power Pages design, because after I have created this, I still need to go inside of the Power Pages designer. Okay, so when I get here, in case if you are not seeing it like this, so I'm kind of using an empty Power Pages website. So in case if you're not seeing it like this, I have to click on add a session. So we have the one column layout. It depends on what type of layouts do you want to use. You have the two column, you have the three column. So this is how they look like. So I want to use the one column layout. Okay. So after you do that, so you can see it looks the same way now. So you have different options of components to choose from. You have the text, you have the button, the image, the video, the card gallery, but we are not seeing the form. So I have to click on the three dots, then go to form. So we have two forms here. We have the multi-step form and the form. So the form is the basic form. So after clicking on it, if we come down here, we can see we can choose an existing form. So this is the form we just created, which is event demo. So I'm going to click on it. So when I click on it, you can see this is how it looks like. So I prefer creating a basic form directly from the Power Pages designer, because it's much faster, to be sincere, than this, okay? But it depends on what you want. So we are going to save the changes by clicking on psych. So psych is just you publishing your changes. So you can see that you can also make different changes right here in the Power Pages designer. You can make changes to the data, like the data create record, which I showed you from the Power Pages management. You also have the what do you want the submit to do? I want it to display a message. The captcha, do you want to show to anonymous and authenticated? We also have the attachment. So do you want to enable attachments? You can still do a lot of settings right here. Okay, so you can still do a lot of settings right here. So just click on cancel that. Okay, so we have everything saved. I'm just going to load my Power Pages website, and now you can see that I can see the form. Okay, so this process, it's much longer than the Power Pages designer, like I said, but it's depends on what you want to do and what you want to go for. So you can still come back to the Power Pages designer and still make changes to the form. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask your questions in the comment section, and I would answer your question. Okay, and if you have Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification. See you in my next video.